Man, if there was two things that I would be heavily focused on right now in 2024. A lot of people don't realize, especially head of the household, because you're working really hard for your family, and I appreciate that. And kudos to you. But there is a freight train coming at the middle class in America and worldwide. And as men, there's two things that we should be focused on. Number one is a devout relationship with God and Jesus Christ. Number two is financial literacy. Men, we are about to go through a transition in 2024 to 2030 that you will never experience again in your living history. And unfortunately, the middle class is the target. And I know that we're in a position right now where we're working harder on ourselves than to do anything else. You're working hard to trade time for money to support your family. But it's really important that you find that foundation with God. I'm not talking religion. I'm talking a foundation with God. I'm talking a prayer walk with Christ Jesus, Yeshua, Jesus Christ. And number two is understanding how these economics work during these times. If you start to spend time with God and you start to pray to Jesus, I'm not saying you have to go to a church. I'm saying just a relationship right where you sit right now. And you start to ask God for guidance and divine direction on where you should take your family and where you should take your finances. I promise you that you'll start to see miracles and things open and awareness come to you and knowledge and education that you've never seen before. Because when you start to get back to that foundation of in God we trust, just like it says on the dollar, but truly in America, in man we trust. You get back to the in God we trust and you build a relationship with Christ and you start to walk that path, that miracles will start to come up. And if you start to take action and you spend about 20 minutes a day, number one, understanding financial literacy. What is money? You work hard for it. You need to understand what money is. It's debt in America. And so you need to understand the debt game. Number two is you need to develop financial literacy and financial disciplines. Looking at your debts and non-negotiables. If you're a man who's the head of your household, and you're driving a big jacked up truck and you got a boat and ATVs and all these fun things, but your family is struggling and you have nothing saved for retirement for emergencies, you don't have a money problem, you have a priority problem. Straight up. You don't have a money problem, you have a priority problem. And as you start to develop that financial literacy and you look at debts and non-negotiables, as you start to get rid of those debts that are holding your family back, you start to create some cash flow. Then you start looking at, how do I invest? How do I take sovereignty of my money? How do I take the hard-earned money that I wake up every single day, the time away from my family, and how do I take that money and multiply it? Read the book, Richest Man in Babylon. Cash flow quadrant, and think and grow rich. Your next job as a man, after your relationship with God every single day and praying to Christ Jesus Yeshua, and building that financial literacy and that financial discipline and looking at your priorities and creating cash flow, your job is to learn how to multiply that. Once you learn how to multiply, your job now is to protect that wealth from generation to generation. And yield this as a warning. I'm telling you, from 2024 to 2030, your economy is going to change. This is not our grandparents' economy. This is not our parents' economy. This is the biggest transfer of wealth in history, and it's not going to the middle class. So I'll leave you with this. Once again, build a relationship with God. I'm not talking religion. Start a prayer walk with Christ Jesus, Yeshua. Just every day, communicate. Ask for guidance for your family's future and for generations to come. Not just this lifetime, but for generations to come. After that, I want you to understand what money is. It's debt in America. Number two is I want you to look, do you have a money problem or a priority problem? And if you got a priority problem, fix it. Then you create the cash flow, invest it. Even if you make some mistakes, at least you're moving your family forward. And then from there, your job is to protect this wealth and your family with every ounce of your soul. Men, it is time to rise up into that divine masculine, to build a powerful foundation that your kids will be proud of, and to build a legacy that will go from generation to generation.